Hi, it's Nick from Match Property Estate Agents. Welcome to 2022. Last year, the property market in North Devon, as we all know, went a little bit crazy. This year, we think things are likely to stay fairly strong for the first half of the year, but are likely to be much more normal as we come into the market, into the spring and summer, and certainly beyond the summer, which is harder to predict currently. Things are likely to stabilise. So to recap on 2021, well, we started the year with a lockdown. We ended the year with a frenzied market where buyers were struggling to get viewings on properties. And we are now seeing a market that is certainly transitioning into a much more normal state of affairs. The big keynote from last year is that obviously the prices were increasing quite substantially. The average prices in the North Devon area, house price for last year was £302,000. Detached properties were very much the most in-demand properties in the area, and the average price for a detached property in North Devon was £413,000 or just over £413,000. So we saw really strong prices last year. A number of factors competing in regards to that. Obviously, it was a low level of supply because of potential COVID lockdowns and also nervousness about obviously accepting people into your homes, doing viewings during potentially high level of COVID infections. But the demand for property in this area went up exponentially. We've always had a market where we do have buyers moving into the area quite a lot, as well as the local buyers moving around. But certainly that was enhanced last year with people taking that decision or making that decision to move their families down to the North Devon area. And that's been borne out with the demand figures for detached properties in the area, really linking up with the demand that was coming from families moving into the area as well. But we also saw lots of local families moving, so families either upsizing or downsizing depending on the stage of their family life. And that was a big factor that we saw last year as well. Coming into the new year, towards the end of last year, as I say, things really did calm down. The demand is still there. The lack of supply is really still there. But the pricing side of things, that frenzy where people were trying to get in before the stamp duty holidays and that sort of thing that we saw in the summer, had certainly subsided, and we were getting more normal market prices being paid, but still very close to or at or above the asking price. Just not those sort of frenzied premiums that we saw earlier in the year. One of the key factors that's going to be in play, certainly for the first half of 2022, is still going to be the lack of supply. If you look at any estate agent window or online website listings at the moment, you'll see that they're much lower than normal. If you look in certain areas, you'll see just a handful of available properties in any location. That's likely to continue as we build into the spring. Hopefully this year, because there is less risk, or there appears to be less risk of potential lockdowns and further issues with COVID with regards to that side of things, we're likely to see an uplift in properties coming to the market as we hit the middle of this year, as we hit the middle of this year, and sellers are going to be more confident to find those properties. At the moment, there's a little bit of a scenario going on where people are looking for something that they'd like to move to, and they're not seeing enough selection for them to give them confidence to put their own property on the market, given the speed at which properties have been selling locally. So that's part of the problem. It's a bit of a catch-22, but we're starting to see that supply come into the market. So that will ease, we think, over the next 3 to 6 months into the summer. Beyond that, it's very hard to tell. There's lots of potential for stamp duty changes to come in play, capital gains tax changes to come into play, and also interest rate rises, potentially further interest rate rises towards the second half of next year into the autumn. So there's still very much a great opportunity for sellers at the moment. If you're looking to sell the first quarter or the first half of this year, we think is probably going to be the best time to sell in terms of getting the maximum possible price for your property. However, you're still going to be finding some issues with supply, and therefore that may affect your ability to find your next property if you're moving locally, or if even if you're moving outside of the area, because we do think it's going to be a national issue. One area we might be able to help local sellers and buyers moving into the area with is finding properties that are off market. We launched last year a property finder service, which has, because of the lack of supply last year, done fantastically well, and we're likely to see that continue this year. So our property finder service is available to anybody that's in a proceedable position. That means that you don't necessarily have a property to sell, either your sale agreed or under offer, or you don't have a property to sell, you've got the financing in place in order to proceed without selling another property. It's been a really useful service for a lot of buyers. We've been able to sell lots of properties off market, and that's worked fantastically well. So if you're interested in that, do give us a call or get in touch and we can explain how that works a little bit more. So if you're planning a sale this year, do give us a call, drop us an email. We're happy to give you some initial advice. Perhaps you're not quite at that stage yet, but you just want some advice in terms of your circumstances and the best things that you need to do, or things you need to think about and consider and put into place before you make that move. We can certainly help you with all of that. Do check our property blog. We'd have lots and lots of useful articles about downsizing, moving, selling your property, presenting your property, whatever it may be. But certainly get in touch, check out our website or search the North Devon Property blog and you'll find our blog articles. Welcome to 2022. We hope it's going to be a fantastic year for everybody. But as I say, any questions or queries, any property related inquiries, just give us a call. We'd be happy to help.